wake up, water ritual. Keep my flesh, keep face due east. Pray to Allah, bless my flesh. Candle lit, ready, God, arm on my chest. Standing at 45, you got to pardon my steps. Got the bank, tell her, you don't want cash that check. Keep 2 on the right, 5 on the left. Star on that crest, use the hammer, pound on the truth. When I catch wreck, king on the board, make sure all sides is protected. Without a foe, I never know my strength, so I honor those lessons. Keep 20 on the right, more American. Far from a block of wood, come soar with the pelican. You've been ruled by the laws of the sea, come walk with benevolence. I'm on a Zeppelin, Temple 34, my domicile, got me swimming in law. This is consciousness, aware of the consciousness of itself. Flag red and green, scrap, I'm just being myself. Love, love, truth, truth, peace, peace, freedom, freedom. When those principles violated, justice gonna see them. Love, love, truth, truth, peace, peace, freedom, freedom. When those principles violated, justice gonna see them. Really though, really though.
Islam Moors, brothers Y Cyrus L here. First I rise and give praise to the great God Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I give high honors to our illustrious prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Prophet Noble Drew Ali said in his article entitled Caveat Emptor, he said, Moors are men, upright, independent, and fearless, who care for their loved ones and follow the prophet to a destiny that is not uncertain or unknown. They are fortified by the impregnable doctrine built upon love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. It is therefore folly at its greatest height for smelly culprits with their insidious plans to invade such a realm. They try and try, but their own bad planning brings down wrath upon their heads like the sword old Damocles had. Intrigue and scurrilous cunnings find a difficult path to travel within the ranks of the Moors. This is so because the Moorish movement has been well planned by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, whose latent powers are abundant, unknown, and may be called into action as a matter of defense at any moment. Praise Allah. I'd like to give special honors to all of those that helped guide me over the years as I made my way through the Moorish Divine and National Movement into the Moorish Science Temple of America, including my first Grand Sheikh and moderator, Grand Sheikh Emeritus, Sister E. German Bey. Let me give honors to my Grand Sheikh and moderator, Brother R. Jones Bey, the Grand Sheikh and moderator, leader of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I give honors to Sister German Bey and former Grand Sheikh, Brother W. Clendenin Bey. I give a special honor to the Grand Sheikh of Branch Temple number 11, Brother S.N.I.L. Bey, and the Assistant Grand Sheikh of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Brother A. Hopkins Bey. Sister D. Warner Bey, the Grand Sheikh of Temple 57, on and on. All of these Moors, I give special honor to, continue that honor to my brother W. Curtis Bey, the Grand Sheikh of Temple number 82 out of New York City, who also is the founder, curator of Moorish Society. These Moors are not only researchers and followers of the Prophet, dedicated followers of the Prophet, they also have accumulated a very, very powerful archives that can be used in certain cases like this. I'm going to start off. I'm going to go directly into what's going on here. I decided to put this video together for those that, like myself, are seeking to make it to the Moorish Science Temple of America. You may be somewhere along the path in the Moorish Divine and National Movement, as we call it. There's a lot of confusion out there. So, recently there's a situation, and I'm going to ask that Allah, guide my words in my heart as I make this presentation, that I keep it on high, and anything that I say that's against the Prophet or against the movement or incorrect, it's not going to be against the Prophet or the movement, incorrect, blame that on me. Don't blame it on the Prophet. And also anything that may be offensive, I apologize in advance because I definitely do not mean for this to be an offense. So essentially, I'm going to share my screen here. I'm actually responding to some accusations and slander that are coming from the brother Tahaka Bey. I feel personally responsible to some degree because I've known Tahaka for a while. We've been friends, and actually, at the end of the day, I do wish the best for him. I hope whatever's going on with I don't know what's going on, but I wish, I pray Allah that he's able to snap out of it, because it's definitely not a good look. But I feel personally responsible. I've been on his platform before. A little bit of background, because this is going to get kind of legal, surgical as we move forward, and I want the forensics to be exact. So I'm going to try to, in this short video, hopefully won't be too long, put as much information on the record at this day and time. It's actually currently March the 21st at the time of this recording. I actually, so Brother Tahaka Bey actually came, he's been in the movement for quite a while, as far as I can tell. He was a probably came into the movement. I think it was roughly around the early 90s or something like that. So I respect his history in the Moorish Science Temple of America, regardless of his teacher, how his membership actually works. And I'm not going to go into any of that for fear of offending anyone. And we met working when we set up the debate in Harlem in 2016. After the debate was the first time I see Tahaka shows up. I see him in the portrait. I remember him being there that day. And then afterwards, he started building his platform. At the time, I was a member of a research group, and Ali's Men appeared a few times on his platform, supporting it. My thought had always been, observing him come out of nowhere on the heels of the debate and out of excitement of the debate. I figured that we needed to definitely participate in his platform, because there is currently no very large, long-standing media platform in the Moorish Science Temple of America. There's a national media platform that's being put together now, praise Allah, from 2020. And but to speed up, after the course of a couple of years, I started to realize that the brother, some of the Moors began to back away. He was suffering from some things. I'm not going to judge him. That's not what this video was about either. So I'm not going to go into what my, assessment of the problem was, but I began to take steps back. And shortly after, I believe the first video I saw was around 2020. He began to make disrespectful statements to the leader of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Brother R. Jones Bey, who I'm going to talk about later, cannot and should not respond to any slander or any slick comments or any disrespect that comes off of Tahaka Bey, because at the end of the day, it's a bait. It's a kind of like a grift. But he tipped out that way. No one responded, because really the way the Moorish Science Temple of America is set up, it's an organization. We have strict rules. It's very difficult to get clearance or find a person who can subject themselves to that type of a situation. And so he began to do more, talk about the leader more. There were more videos, a few more videos that were made. And I remember roughly about last year, he took it even further. This is the psychology of how these things actually go. And he actually made, I saw the first video was made about Brother C. Kirkman Bey. I think it was about a year, maybe a year and a half ago. A lot of these I was looking for are gone now. And I don't know if he took them down or he put them aside somewhere. Started making very, very slanderous accusations against Brother C. Kirkman Bey, the first Supreme Grand Advisor and moderator of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And I want to continue my honors. I want to be sure to give honors to Brother Email El, the Grand Sheikh of Temple Number 1 out of Chicago during the Prophet's time. It was the Prophet's Grand Sheikh of Temple Number 1, and he served as a Supreme Grand Sheikh of the Supreme Grand Council, which has since been disbanded. But I also give honors to Brother C. Kirkman Bey. I give honors to Brother F. Nelson Bey, Brother J. Blakely Bey, the former Supreme Grand Advisors and moderators. I give honors to Brother All Love El, the past Grand Sheikh and moderator, and our present Grand Sheikh, of course, Brother R. Jones Bey, because that's what this is about at the end of the day. So as this thing accumulates, I hear him talking about Brother C. Kirkman Bey. I heard a video last year, about a year and a half ago. He accused, but Tahaka Bey accused Brother C. Kirkman Bey of stabbing the Prophet. And around that time, you know, again, he's still communicating with me, and because we were friends at the time, but I took a lot of offense to that. And I'm gonna speak about that also later. He offended a lot of his quote unquote brothers in the Moorish Science Temple of America. You know, some Moors call us the Inc. I call us the Moorish Science Temple of America. And he attempted to call me. I didn't take a call. He texted me, you know, I'm calling. You called me a couple of times, and I didn't answer his text. And I text him because I'm offended by what you did. So you could do, if you do me a favor, please lose my number. And the brother took offense, and he made a poster about me. I know this was 2020, roughly. I remember it was around Authority Day in 2020. There's a poster about me. I'm not gonna. I didn't fish it up. I could find a picture, but it's there. No response from Brother Cyrus Hill because, you know, the same way I stopped going on to the platform, and when I was honored, I am presently honored to serve as the Grand Sheik of Brooklyn Temple number 34. He had asked me to come on to the show because that's what he, you know, that's kind of sort of how the platform works. If you have officials come on, it qualifies the platform. And I told him I couldn't do it. I told him years before that, you know, because of the complexity of the politics, you know, are very delicate in the movement. Until we unify, it's hard to coordinate and do anything if we don't have the same leadership, you know. And he wanted me to go on a platform. I didn't want to go on a platform. Then he puts a poster out, you know, I guess trying to get a response. You know, I'm not interested in, my camera is off right now on purpose. I'm not interested in putting my, you know, I'm not trying to build my reputation in this way out on the internet. Let me speed up. This is a short summary. This is gonna be the end of the summary. Let me go ahead and I meant to put let me stop sharing. Let me put the summary of some of the things I'm actually gonna go over here. If I can find it. My share is acting a little bit weird. Let's see if I can find Adobe Illustrator. Here it is. These are some of the topics that I definitely plan to touch base on with the short amount of time that I do have. Including this short summary, and then we're gonna go right into Brother Kirkman Bey, C. Kirkman Bey's authority. But let me finish this point, and I'm gonna go over the summary that he made a poster about me. I didn't respond. Then he begins, you know, continues to make videos about Brother C. Kirkman Bey. You know, I don't know who all. I feel like most Moors are ignoring this platform because of the kind of ludicrous nature. And this is a note to anyone that's outside of the Moorish Havana National Movement. Our brother, I'm going to speak to that, has been attacking a lot of other leaders. The Prophet gave a warning. He said, the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or overthrow the laws of the said government. He said, we're not to speak radical of the church or any organized group, because we're supposed to be teaching love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And there's a lot of people that are aggravated in attacking the Prophet because this platform is attacking them. There's been additional videos of Brother Kirkman Bey. It's getting really ridiculous because at this point, one of us needed to address what the reality is so that he will stop, stop with the disrespect. That's what I'm here to kind of clarify. There was a video that was made last week. He's got all of our past leaders, all four of the past leaders in the current Grand Sheik moderator on a poster, supposedly dedicated to Moorish research, and it just has got to stop. So that's what this video is about. And so, yeah, what I plan, if you're watching this video and you're looking at this at the beginning, you will be able to find in this video before it ends. I'm going to go carefully over Brother C. Kirkman Bey's authority, some just basic common sense information and some documentation that's out there, because with the slander that's being put out is really paper thin. It's really thin information, and it only works when you don't, for those that are trying to get into the movement and you're susceptible to someone who is lying and slandering. Second, I'm going to go into a document that's called The Seat of Authority Explained, a very useful document that explains this whole thing about the controversy of the split and or so-called split in 1929 after the Prophet Noble Drew Ali made his transition. I'm going to also address false accusations associating the Supreme Grand Advisor or moderator with the actions of Brother Claude Green Bey, Brother C. Green Bey. I'm going to speak to why Brother R. Jones Bey, the leader of the Moorish Science Temple of America, should not and will not address Brother Taharqa Bey in the way that Brother Taharqa is attempting to twist his arm to do so, which is a violation of, you know, of our leader. It's a violation of the movement, the Moorish Science Temple of America, and the movement, and it's a violation to the prophet. And then I'm going to speak to some common sense about the Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporation. A lot of people in our temple, we go over often because a lot of people on the outside that are coming in, you know, including myself, I was, you know, it can be confusing when you first hear, oh, they incorporated the Moorish Science Temple of America and why they do that. Well, you know, it actually, the prophet incorporated the Moorish Science Temple. So I'm going to go over a few of those things. I want to address some of the various miscellaneous false claims by Taharqa Bey. And at the very end, I'm going to go over the irony of what this platform has turned into and some of his lies about the debate. So with that, I'm going to start off. So the reason why I'm going to go to, let me find this deck, my presentation deck here. Let me get 1 second because my computer's acting a little bit weird here. Zoom is acting a little bit weird. Where's it at? Where's it at? The brother, as he was talking, he's on his last video, he's like trying to get a reaction from the Moors who are trying to ignore him. Most of us have. I felt the responsibility to watch. I've seen everything he's done regarding the Moorish Science Temple. All the other stuff, I haven't. He's challenging, oh, I dare somebody to step up. Nobody will step up. No one's going to speak to y'all. You know, like we're afraid. No, you know, there's a difference between a high road and a low road. Read caveat emptor all the way through. And so I stepped out and let him know. I said, look, I will, you know, let me see if I can find it. I basically told him that I have no problem with speaking to what your, you know, your demand. You want somebody to clarify. And he lied right out of the gate. One of the interesting things is, and I'm, you know, so I told him, I said, I wanted to not only just have a debate, I wanted to have a discussion, because I wanted to actually, if you have a debate, you know, you're going to have 4 strict questions, and when you go outside of the questions, they could disqualify the comments, restrict it from the record, or I already know if I go on this platform, you're going to slice and splice and cut out. This is what they did to, Sonetta did to Sharif Anayel Bey in the 2016 debate when Sharif washed up Reggie's lies. You know, and so I told him let's have a discussion because I wanted to speak to 2 things. I'm going to put on right here before I jump right into this information about Brother Kirkman Bey. Yeah, I wanted to ask the brother, what is your intention? All of these attacks and all of your moves, you know, what is the intent? You know, what are you saying in between the lines? What would you like to have happen? Right? Because in law, it's called a motive. What is your motive? What is motivating you? What is the end game? And that's what he doesn't want to answer. That's why you don't want to have a discussion, because really you can't answer it, because I know what your end game is, you know. But I'm gonna say what it could be, and then what it is. What it could be is it that you want to destroy the prophet's Moorish Science Temple that is 97 years old. It has all of the history of the prophet and the holy breath. The prophet's spirit is in the Moorish Science Temple. You want to destroy the whole thing so that you can rebuild it over from scratch? We can allow Brother Taharqa Bey to build the Moorish Science Temple America over from scratch, the noble temples? Is that really what you could be, what you're thinking? And I don't think it is now. I think it was approximately about 2 years ago, till you actually try to even spark a new temple and you realize that it's not as easy as it looks. It's hard to open up a single subordinate temple, go from a study group to a branch to a subordinate. You are failing at that. And you fail at, you know, the Moorish village and all these other things. You know, anyone can jump up and say, well, what the Moor movement is not doing, but let me see you do something. And you see how hard it is. It can't be that you want to restart the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then are you saying that, what was the other option that he possibly had? You know, you're saying we got to restart. We're going to demolish it. I personally feel like the end game that you actually want is You know, you're looking for views for your platform. You know, you're looking for views for your platform. There's no other logical intent behind what it is that you're actually trying to do. You know, and it's ironic. I'm gonna go into that at the end, and that's a shameful thing. You know, I wanted to hear your words, but you didn't give me the chance. That's why you dodged me. You ain't trying to answer. These are the hard questions. What is it that you want to do? You can't reboot the temple. That makes no logical sense. Are you trying to hand it over to some other leadership when you bashed every other leader in the movement? So it can't be that. You know, every other branch, you know, I don't use the word grand body. Every other branch of the Moorish Science Temple can't be that. More, you were doing this for views. And I'm gonna make the point at the very end that, in fact, I believe what actually happened is, you know, maybe out of a feeling of abandon or something like that, Brother Tahaka Bey seems to be upset at all the malls and all the temples, you know, which takes me to my next point that I wanted to discuss. I was going to ask him to clarify and let him know. This is point number 2 before we go into Brother Kirkman Bey. Brother Tahaka Bey, do you realize that your attack on the Moorish Science Temple of America, Inc., via trying to jackhammer at its base, which is Brother C. Kirkman Bey, who served for 30 years, served the Moorish Science Temple of America for 30 years. Do you realize from 1929 to 1959, do you realize that your attack is an attack on the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Prophets organization, and the very core of the movement? That means your attack is not an attack on Brother Kirkman Bey, it's an attack on the Prophet Noble Jew Ali. You are attacking the Prophet. And I believe in your heart you know that, based on some of the last statements that you made. You know, and that's deep. For me, I'm trying to figure out, how did it come to this point? And this is the irony of the platform, because your platform is turned around and is doing the exact same thing of the platform that you copied. But Sa Neter was trying to destroy the movement. At least he was from the outside, and he didn't understand. He had a misunderstanding. And now his attitude changed. I can appreciate Sa Neter finally, you know, at least stopped. And he gives honors to the Moors. You know, I'm not even going there because I'm still really upset with all of that. But you, of all people, with a Moorish platform, are attacking the Moors yourself. You're attacking the Prophet. You said a bunch of statements. We can go to the end. Let me keep going. I'm gonna go into some of these statements that you made. Oh, the Moors don't support anything. The Moors don't want to do anything, won't support each other, or not about unity, have not supported me. You know, the Moors, the Moors are, you know, you're degrading your own brothers and sisters and own leadership, the Prophet. That's messed up. So I'm gonna start off. I'm gonna real quick on that part. I'm gonna make sure I put this in the record for those that actually are curious about who dodged what. As I go into this first point about Brother C. Kirkman Bey. So this was the exchange that we actually had. You know, after I said, look, I said on my post that enough was enough. I'm willing to debate you. So we're going back and forth. I'll go through the whole thing later on. I'm gonna go to the point where it actually happened. And this exposes, because part of this, you know, what is your intent? There's a credibility issue here. You know, there's a credibility. You're lying right here. So if somebody lies once, you know, it's called credibility. Man, how often do you lie? What causes you to lie? You're saying, I'm gonna show at the end that you're saying that I'm dodging you. I ducked the debate, you know, and blah, 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 blah. But right here, I'm in this communication. I actually asked you, you know, after you forced me to, trying to force me into a structured debate versus the discussion. I said, so how you want to structure this? And then you came back, what points would you like to debate? Let's get a neutral mediator and set it up. Are you serious? You don't even know how to process the process of formulating a structured debate. And I told him, I said, you know, most of the Moors, but regarding the mediator, most of the Moors don't want to subject themselves to what you've done to this platform. So I have to, you know, kind of come up with some ideas for a mediator. I was hoping he would suggest. I didn't care. I don't need a mediator. We could just go back and forth, you know. But I don't know nobody that's going to go on there. You know, there was one of my brothers, one of the sheiks, I asked to come on and help me share this information. Nobody wants to be subjected to this. And then I said, before I subject myself to your unreasonable, fearful demand to do a debate only, you'll hear it at the end. Oh, ain't no discussion. You said debate. We're going to debate. Okay, all right. This is your logic. All right, that's slick psychology. You're trying to talk slick. Let me ask you, agreed to a discussion and a debate, right? That's a fair compromise, right? Of course it is. And that's not unreasonable at all. He calls himself the defender of the truth, but let's have a discussion, defender of the truth. And then I told him 3. I said, also, I want to be able to address any future claims, charges, or accusations you make about the Moorish Science Temple of America Inc. leadership in the future. Now that I gotta come out and go get muddied up on this platform. Anytime you got something to say again, call me before you just go all out, so I can clarify for you. Because the tactic I know you would like to use is to do one debate. Now you got my got me on camera, and you got something to spice and dice, and you can say he came on my platform, which the Moors don't want to verify you by going on the platform, and then you're gonna run and avoid me after that. So this basically saying, be honorable and give me your word that you're gonna allow me to continue to answer any questions if you really had a question. I said, because falsehood cannot go toe to toe with truth. This is from the Quran of Mecca. Truth knocks falsehood's brains out. Then you came back. This is my last comment, right? This is a kind of a truncated version of the last point. Point number 4. I want to be able to address a future claim. You came back and said, bro, I'll pass. You said it. That's where that's where you gotta, you kind of flinched and you duck right there. You was flinching when you saying, I don't want to do a discussion. Right here, you just ducked and spun. You're making this far too complicated. You shook. Go back and regroup and let me know when you're serious. You talking about most Moors and all this mumbo rap excuses. Peace, bro. So, and I said, yeah, okay, I'm shook, but you passed. Yeah, I know you do, because you're not. I'm from New York City, man. You know what I mean? I've seen all type of slick talk. You're not gonna slick talk me. I know the psychology of being afraid of the truth. So let's go into brother C. Kirkman Bey, the authority of brother C. Kirkman Bey. I want to start off by just going into some common sense. Start this off with the basic common sense of what this claim is, and this is. I'm gonna give thanks to brother Anna Bey for sharing this file right here, and a couple of the other key ones. So you're saying brother C. Kirkman Bey has no authority. He was given wasn't a sheikh. He was, what did you say? You said he was given his credentials by brother Mealy Ill, and when brother Mealy Ill left. Which is what happened. He left the Moorish Science Temple of America. Brother Kirkman Bey's credentials are gone, so therefore how could he be the leader? How could brother Kirkman Bey be the leader when he don't have no credentials? And Mealy made him the credentials. First of all, think about the logic of they were in the Moorish Science Temple of America as it stands to today. And we're gonna talk about it. I want to dig into you look up the corporate filing of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Moors that were with the Prophet in 1929 and had that convention and didn't leave, the few that, aside from the few that, a handful of people left, Brother Mealy Ill was one of the ones that stayed. But then eventually he did leave, a couple of years later. This is a photograph from the portrait taken at the end of the convention, 1929. Brother Mealy Ill standing right here with Brother Kirkman Bey all together after the election. So how could this take place? I don't see a fight. I don't see a brawl. I don't see a missing, Brother Mealy Ill, past Grand Sheikh. But he says, yeah, how could this happen? He don't have the authority. He was never appointed. Everything was unfair. So the speaking to the authority part first. So let's just use common sense. Two things that are clear is that Brother C. Kirkman Bey, according to the see if I can find the oral statements, oral statement number 180 talks about how Brother C. Kirkman Bey was selected by Sister M. Lovett Ill to travel with the Prophet. The Prophet was looking for someone to help him as an interpreter when he went to the Pan American Conference. Sister M. Lovett Ill, past Grand Governor of Illinois, said that the Holy Prophet asked her, do you have anyone in your temple that can speak foreign languages? She said yes. At that time, she was the Grand Sheikess of Temple Number 9, right? She said that one cold night that she took Brother C. Kirkman Bey to the Holy Prophet's office, where she said, Brother Prophet, this is the brother that I was talking about. She said, I thought that I was introducing them to the Prophet, but they already knew each other because they had went to school together. She said that the Holy Prophet asked Brother C. Kirkman Bey, can you speak High German? Brother C. Kirkman Bey said, yes, but I am a little rusty. She said the Holy Prophet reached into a trunk, pulled out a book and dusted it off with a feather dusted and handed it to Brother Kirkman Bey. And he read from it. The Prophet was satisfied and told him that he had to go down to Cuba and he wanted him to go with him. Brother Kirkman Bey told Prophet that he had a wife and a child or children. The Holy Prophet told him that they would be provided for. The Holy Prophet took Brother C. Kirkman Bey to the Pan American Conference in Cuba in 1928. Hopefully we were on here with more seasoned Moors. If you're not a seasoned Moorish American, there's, in 1928, earlier of 1928, Prophet Noble Drew Ali went to the Pan American Conference, which was like the predecessor to the United Nations or the League of Nations, the United Nations. And this can actually prove, that this happened. You can't say that didn't happen. Everyone knows this is what you were calling this a manifesto. This is a manifest, the ship's manifest for Brother Talkabout. I think you called it a manifesto yesterday. I'm gonna get to that later. This is the manifest from the ship that sailed to Havana. Everyone is familiar with this document, and it shows the Prophet Noble Drew Ali and Charles Kirkman Bey on the ship together. In fact, I heard there's a video that is being aired in Havana of this later on in the other oral statement. It says that when the ship docked, Brother Kirkman Bey said something to the military there in Spanish, and it came to attention. And apparently, there's a video of that. So comment. We're on common sense. And let me actually also let me tighten up with sister the sister that introduced him, Sister M. Lovett-Ill, past Grand Sheikess of Temple number 9 in Chicago. Sister M. Lovett-Ill is none other than Sister Whitehead-Ill. This is before she got married. On the first convention lithograph, this sister right here. She went by the name of Sister Whitehead-Ill, Sister M. I think it was M. Whitehead-Ill. And when she married, you also see her in all the pictures. You see the picture. I didn't bring the picture, loaded picture on there of the Prophet at the first convention, and all the Moors. He's sitting with Oscar Dupriest and Jesse Benga and the rest of the Moors. You see Sister Whitehead-Ill sitting right there. There's an article from the Moorish Guide, actually, from where one of her students, right, protege, Sister D. Warner Bey, the current Grand Sheik of Temple number 57 in Lockport, Michigan, Lockport, Illinois, is in this article, Moorish Guide, Friday, March 30th, right? She talks about Sister Lovett-Ill, and she's the one that explained to me. I actually am a student of Sister Warner Bey as well. And she says, it's right here, it says, I was blessed to be married by Brother C. Warner Bey. My husband and I both served the Prophet Drew Ali together whenever we were needed. Honors to Brother C. Warner Bey, Sister Warner Bey's husband. Praise Allah. Honors again to my sister, my mother. My husband and I both served with the Prophet Drew Ali together wherever we were needed. We were obligated in 1966 by Sister D. Lovett-Ill, a very profound vanguard of this great divine and national movement. Sister Lovett-Ill made the white robe the Prophet wore in the picture on the divine constitution and bylaws. She also set up the original Temple number 9. She set it up, becoming the first woman to serve as Grand Sheik in the Moorish Science Temple of America. Oral statement number 180 tells a detailed story about how Sister Lovett-Ill introduced Brother Kirkman Bey to the Prophet, not knowing that they already knew each other. She worked hard for the Prophet in the Moorish Manufacturing Company and could be seen on buses in Chicago in her white uniform, selling the Prophet's oil, teas, and compounds. Sister Lovett-Ill had her own unique way of personally advertising Moorish remedies using dramatic hand gestures. She was referred to and became known as the Grand Governor and Mother of the Temple within Temple number 9. Sister Lovett-Ill was a fixture as a mufti at convention every year and was always posted directly under the Moorish flag, as she is in the photo seen below. And this is Sister G. Cook Bey, who's in that article as well, and this is Sister, I'm going to be talking about the Cook Beys of Temple number 13. You know, these are the originals, the original followers of the prophet. This is Sister Lovett Ill, a later undated photograph provided by Sister Warner Bay. And so I said, all in the photograph of that first convention with Oscar Dupree and others, she's sure enough standing not directly under. She's not in a position that the grand governors take at the convention in front of the flag. There's always a governor right there in front of that Moorish flag, but she's still in front of it. She's a few rows ahead, you know, but she's still on that side. So I'm talking common sense. So Brother C. Kirkman Bey, you can't deny this is empirical evidence. Brother Kirkman Bey went to the prophet to Havana, Cuba. All right. And then next, I don't have this information, but it can easily be provided. There's a Chicago Defender article, one of the Moors was supposed to send to me, where it describes the prophet's funeral. Everyone has it. You know you got it, Brother Tahaka Bey. You know, this is easy. Well, I'll post it on our Facebook page where it describes the prophet's funeral being officiated by Brother C. Kirkman Bey. You know the story where it talks about how he did the rite where the Moors went around the prophets seven times, right? That one, and which is referred to. Let me jump down to I'm gonna come to this document. When I get into that document that I was telling you about by Brother Collins Bey, the seat of authority explained. It explains that because Brother Kirkman Bey officiated that funeral and did an outstanding job, that the Moors saw their leader. That's the logic. More, it's not taking everything too personally, but the logic of it is the prophet traveled with Brother Kirkman Bey. Not only the Pan American Conference, he was traveling with the prophet around the country as the prophet traveled. So he got to know a lot of the Moors. This is what it explains. And then he officiated the service. That was it. And the Moors had a right to decide their leader. So but this is not where I'm not even there. I'm getting ahead of the gun. Common sense. You're talking about the authority of Brother C. Kirkman Bey. More. That's game. Common sense would say, how would he be able to do those two things if he wasn't a sheikh? He didn't have any authority. Let me go to the convention. Actually, I forgot this part. This is the second annual national convention in 1929. Thank you, Brother Anil Bey, for also providing for me this as I was trying to gather these records together in short order, because this challenge actually was issued. I think I opened up my mouth on Thursday, and we had decided we were going to do this on Wednesday, on Monday, maybe Monday or Sunday or something like that. I think it was even Saturday. So I decided I want to do it, but I got a lot of things. We were in Tag Day in Glassboro. I got a company to run, so I'm gathering these things. Thank you, Grand Sheik, for sending me this, so I had it on time to actually put this on this record. So this is the program cover, right? Held at the Pythian Temple. This is the program. September the 15th, 1929, 8 p.m. Formal opening of the convention by Brother T. Thompson L., Grand Governor of Philadelphia, PA. And remember that name. Brother T. Thompson L. was also one of the founders of Temple Number 11. Formal opening, right? Presentation. Okay, so you got that address. And there's a song, presentation, Brother E. Millie Ill, right? Supreme Grand Sheik, spoke next. Announcement of the convention program. And then that Monday night at 8 p.m., opening of the convention, after Brother E. Millie Ill's address and Brother Y. Smith Ill's address. Who addresses the body, the grand body? Brother Kirkman Bey, Supreme Grand Advisor, Temple Number 1. And I'm not even going into that advisor and advisor. You're reaching a little bit. That's definitely a reach. Why would Brother C. Kirkman Bey be addressing the grand body at that time and at that size if he wasn't even a sheik, more? Think about that for a minute. Do that make sense? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. That brings me to this, whether he was a sheik or not. So today, since I been in the Moorish Science Temple, and I'm a newbie. I joined in 13 years ago, Temple Number 34, and I've been in the movement 20 years today. Around this time, 2003, I was I was entering some temple somewhere for the first time, thinking it was the Moorish Science Temple. And the time frame to become a sheikh is 3 years. And the time frame for a divine minister, which I'm not aware that they had divine ministers back at this time. I don't think they did, is an additional 3 or 4 years, 7 years total. But the Prophet Noble Drew Ali incorporated the Moorish Science Temple of America as a civic organization, November the 29th, 1926. For those that want to follow along, let me go and make sure I got a copy of that here. This is the Moorish Leaders Historical Message to America, which we can go into later. We organized the Moorish Science Temple of America in the year of 1925. That was temple number 1. Actually, I believe was opened officially in 1925. And then it says we changed the change to the Moorish Science Temple of America May 19. Okay, wait a minute, hold on. Let's skip some here. 1925, and we were legally incorporated as a civic organization, right? So who incorporated the Moorish Science Temple of America? 1926, of course, the Prophet. So all of this issue about, oh, you incorporated, you 501c3, let me stay focused. It doesn't make any sense, but I'm talking about the timing. Legally incorporated as a civic organization under the laws of the state of Illinois, November 29th, 1926. Civic organization, right? So if you're a civic organization with, where we have the affidavit, there's an affidavit in here that says that this was July 20th, right, 1928, where he upgraded to a religious organization, right? Then you can make sheiks, right? But if you're just a civic organization, are you even making sheiks is the question. Now this is detail, right? Because if the Moor is talking slick, he's reaching and pulling, like remind me of you just playing more, playing in precious records. But the reality is, if you think, for those that are thinking, this is what this video is for. It's not for those that are playing and want to be entertained. This is not entertainment. This is not a game. This is for those that are purely, sincerely seeking, and we don't want you to be confused on where you need to be with it, which is within the Moorish Science Temple of America. If you're a civic organization, are there sheiks at that point? This is 3 years before the Prophet made his transition, right? So how do the sheiks work? And furthermore, which I'm gonna build to my point, there are grand sheiks being placed. Really ill, temple number 1 in 1925, before there was even a civic organization. Is he a sheik? Could he be a sheik? And in 1 year, a grand sheik in 1 year? Prophet was moving very fast. It was the Prophet. Change to the Moorish Science Temple of America, change the name to the Moorish Science Temple of America, May 1928, in accordance with the legal requirements of the Secretary of State of Illinois. Remember that part. Remember Her's revised statutes. We're going to get into that. The object of the organization is to help in a great program of uplifting fallen humanity and teach those things necessary to make our members better citizens, right? A national organization with a Rotary complexion as it relates to branch temples became obvious with the increasing number of inquiries from men and women of different sections of the country concerning the purpose of the organization. There are branch temples in 15 different states at this time. Since the work of the Moorish Science Temple of America was largely religious, the organization, which was incorporated in 1926, has been legally changed to a religious corporation. Legally changed by who? The Prophet. To a religious corporation, and the affidavit to this effect has been properly filed in Cook County Recorder's Office. That was by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, changed it to a religious organization. But here's for those that are paying attention that need to hear this. Okay, so now you can make sheiks. 1 year in July 20th, 1928. That's where this part comes in. For the purpose of the following persons are appointed sheiks, according to the rules and usages of such. This is a form document the Prophet filled out. So the question becomes, you can use this flimsy argument with any of the leaders of the Prophet's time. The Prophet had 4 years from 1925 before he transitioned. But you're going to try to hold Brother C. Kirkman Bey to this high standard, of unreasonable, unrealistic, impossible, more than likely impossible standard of proving that he was a sheik. And there's a discussion about, so I would double back and challenge you to show proof that of any of the sheiks that were actually made. at that time, even grand sheiks. There's this rumor going around about a sheik book, but we'd like to see it. Do you have this sheik book that shows the sheiks that were made? I'd like to see that. Then you'd be saying something. So sheik or no sheik, stop with that, more. Stop it. Stop it. And then I want to go. So when you go into this photograph, actually, too, Brother Anna Bay provided, right? This is the panoramic. This is a portrait that was taken at the end of 1929 convention. Beautiful picture. Make sure I get the whole thing here. And that detail that I showed you already is in this photograph. All the Moors. Look at the flags. There's the detail. Right? And there's the right side, left side, and the right side. Right? The portrait that was taken. This detail right here, dead center, is this. Go back out here. Okay, let me not butcher this up. It's this. And who's that? Right, that's Brother Kirkman Bey. It's Brother Mealy El. I believe that's Brother Mealy El. I'm pretty sure it's Brother Mealy El. Right, it is. At the end of 29. So, and this is action. The portraits are always taken after the last day. I believe they're always taken after the last day and after the elections. Why is what are they still doing it together? So this part about, and this is the segue into the election. I want to read one more thing. Actually, let me put one more thing on the record. Right, this is, man, my brother, man, came through in the clutch. Brother S.I.N.L. Bay again. I gotta give him credit for this one. Praise Allah. This is a letter. Make sure I get the right one first. Yeah, this is a letter that there's actually a two-part letter here. I want to. There's a lot of information on this. This is an affidavit of some type from Brother Emily Ill, speaking about the history and his understanding about what the Prophet did and said. And this is where this quote will come up again later in the document called the Seat of Authority Explained, where Emily Ill gives this account. I'm going to read it. This says, send to all official business of the Home Office. All right, care of Brother Emily Ill, Supreme Grand Sheik. Right? Let's see something. This is 1930 something, 31, does that say? See what else other details are on here. So I'm not gonna read this bottom part. Is very interesting. Leave this here for a second, but I don't want to get into any of that. I don't want to get into any of that. It's a very curious exchange that the past Grand Sheik of Temple Number 1 had with the Prophet about at the bottom of that letter. But here he says, let me read the top of it so I can give you the context. He, the Prophet, said, remember, this is Mealy Ill's words. There is no salary attached to the work, but if you can put up with my fare and if you are willing to sacrifice with me, I will see that your rent is paid. I will see that your other expenses are paid and that you have a little spending change. I agreed. Brother Emilio agreed. Returning from a trip around to the other temples one morning in front of the Home Office at 3603 Indiana Avenue, the Prophet said to me, I, Emily Ill, Brother Emily Ill, you will study up now on all of my laws to prove yourself, because you will have to do what I am doing. You will go around to all the temples and report back to me. So read up on my Quran, questionnaire, constitution. Try to be perfect in all subjects so you may be intelligent along the lines of procedure, right? So you may act intelligent along all lines of procedure. 20 minutes later in his office, on the same occasion, he, Ju Ali, the Prophet, said to me, quote, I find all of them want to sit in my seat, but at my absence, that is your station. And when you leave, lock the desk and put the key in your pocket. Everyone wants to sit there because there is where the money is. But I know who I want to sit there, and I know who I want to handle my money. And if you leave for any length of time, give the keys to Brother C. Kirkman Bey till you return. Again, My question becomes, if Brother Kirkman Bey wasn't the second in line with the prophet, you know, and holding a lot of importance with the prophet, remember, traveled to Cuba, travels around the country, officiated the prophet's funeral, right? Brother Kirkman Bey officiated the prophet's funeral. He spearheaded. He did it primarily alone. He gave he officiated the prophet's funeral. And the prophet is saying, leave the keys with him. There's some rumor that the Moors patched together. They said, oh, give him the keys because Brother Kirkman Bey was the janitor. Not only is that kind of messed up and disrespectful, but it's just a flat lie. Brother, one of the brothers showed me, Brother Serrano Bey has a document that explains that there was, I think he said on the police report, after the incident that happened with Brother Claw Green, is unfortunate, the shooting that actually occurred, it said that there was a janitor on the scene there and gave a totally different name. You know, for those that need to be proven, but to me that's a ridiculous thought, where he's speaking at the convention, speaking over the prophet's funeral. You know, he's the person that the prophet wants to put the keys in his hand if Brother Meliel is not there, but he's the janitor. You know, this is how they talk to the Moors, because of the fact that you know, a lot of the people that are coming in are, you know, some people may have a little more trouble with logic than others. So most of us that are more intelligent or sharper, those are the ones that you're not gonna fall for this. But those that are susceptible to that, bro, it's messed up. It's messed up. And I'm not gonna go off onto Lucifer, Satan, Devil, Dragon, Beast. Give 5 names that are given to the descendants of Adam and Eve. Lucifer, Satan, Devil, Dragon, and Beast. Long story short, the beast is the entry level. That's how you slip into your low. Lucifer is when you full blown. But Satan, it's very satanic to lead people astray, because you're not even full blown. You just don't know. You can't do no better than to lead people the wrong way. But regarding the election, let me stay on task. I'm gonna try not to make this take forever and ever. So this election, so you got a majority of people that, if I'm not, I am correct. We're correct. If you think properly, you say they had an election at this convention, 1929, and after the election, they took a portrait afterward. Everybody was fine, right? Meliel was there. Brother E. Meliel was there, I believe, that convention, and it was at the following convention. And then it was later that he broke off and began to do his own conventions. And when he was running operations at his house, where he got upset about what happened in 1929. But the majority of the people, first of all, we're going to go into Herd's Revised Statutes, that the election process is possible in the 805, based on the rules and regulations of Herd's Revised Statutes of a religious corporation. But even further on is, starting with the common sense, the majority of the people that did stay, you saying all of them are wrong? Brother Kirkman Bey, Sister Whitehead ill, who stayed, didn't get outraged and leave. Brother Crumby Bey, Temple number 5, Grand Sheikah Temple number 5. Brother McElrath Bey of the Moorish Manufacturing Company, he didn't leave. The Cook Beys, Brother G. Cook Bey didn't leave. Grand Sheikah Temple number 13 in Baltimore, right? Brother Talker Bey, Baltimore's temple didn't leave. Sister Pearl Jew Ali stayed with Brother Kirkman Bey. Brother C. Barker Bey, right? Who set up the Moorish National Home. It was these are Moors that was close with the prophet. Brother Pollard Bey, who set up temple number 10 in Newark. The prophet sent him back to do that special task. He stayed with the prophet. Brother T. Thompson ill was wrong too, of temple number 11 in Philly. Brother Childs Bey, temple number 7 in Cleveland, and on and on. All these Moors, all of them is all part of this plot, right? That don't make no sense, Moor. That makes zero sense whatsoever. And again, I'm gonna keep pointing back to your credibility. You giving me little white lies right in my face. It wasn't even a white lie, because you was trying to stand on it. Oh, the Moor dodged the debate. Moor, you lying. How often do you lie? I'm gonna go to Herd's Revised Statutes. This is based off of what the affidavit is. We know, let me show for anyone that might be newer. It's the affidavit. This is our authority. This is the back of the questionnaire, right? See Heard's Revised Statutes, chapter 32, 30 through 36. Right, our appointed of warden which refers to the appointment of the sheiks or whatever else they wanted to do. We decided to use sheiks, but this is all based off of Heard's Revised Statutes, right? So when you go to Heard's, without reading all of it, that's where the concept for the chairman and for the Grand Sheik, the chairman, assistants of Grand Sheik, assistant chairman, secretary, assistant secretary, treasurer, all that's Heard's Revised Statute. That's compliance. Taking the minutes, you gotta record your minutes, and they gotta be approved, right? It says here, this is what that is. Let me see. Let me find one of the main ones that has a lot more of the heading on it, a little bit more of the heading on that. This is Heard's Revised Statute. They call it the 805, right? It says that a trustee may be removed from office by election, called and conducted in like manner as elections for trustees, other elections, or his office declared vacant for failure to act, immoral conduct, or for an abandonment of the faith of the congregation, church, or society. Another one. Still the 805, right? Heard's Revised Statute, right? The term of office of trustees of any such corporation may be determined by the rules or laws of the congregation, church, or society. So in our regulations, we set it up so that the elections have to happen as certain grand body decide. We're gonna have elections. This is the way we're gonna go about elections. This is we're gonna have I'm not going into add up information, but yeah, it's in the regulations. No slip right there. 805. Section 35. Any church, congregation, or society formed for the purposes of religious worship may become incorporated in the manner following: by electing or appointing, according to its usages and customs, at any meeting held for that purpose, or two or more of its members as trustees, wardens, or vestrymen. That's called the whole grand body, or other such officers whose powers and duties are similar to those of trustees, and shall be agreeable to the uses and customs and rules and regulations of such congregation, church, or society, and may adopt a corporate name, and upon the filing of an affidavit, right, May 9th, 1st, 1928, and hereafter provided shall remain a body politic and corporate by the name so adopted. Moorish Science Temple of America, not Moorish Holy Temple of Science or the old Canaanite Temple. Did you say that the Canaanite Temple is incorporated separately? I think you said that the other day. More, you're getting rusty. More, you better get back in the temple. I take that back. You should know. You know better. You've been in the temple for too long, Brother Talker Bay. 805, Section 39. All elections of trustees after the first and elections to fulfill vacancies may be called and conducted upon such notice in such manner as may be provided by the rules, uses, and laws of the congregation, church, or society. No certificate of election after the first need be filed for record. So, Brother Kirkman Bey was elected. And in the the way that it actually happened is, again, he was very popular for traveling. He for traveling to the Pan American Conference, and when he came back from the Pan American Conference, that was going around. The brother said something, and the whole military came to alert. They tore it up down there. That's where Bustamante codes comes out. That's where nationality and all that was formulated. It was a whole lot that happened in Penn. We're going to learn later when everything happened, but Kirkman Bey was there. Then he traveled with him after, which means the prophet liked him. And Brother Kirkman Bey was sharp, more. I don't know what information you got. Talking about education of the prophet even, and the education of Kirkman. Everything's funny when you don't really care. Brother Kirkman Bey, all the testimony says he's sharp, dominating. He was an electrifying speaker. And you want to disrespect him because you can't get your way. You want some bam bam. Oh, I want to have bam bam. I want to, you want to set up your own temple and be the, whatever. That's crazy, more. It's very illogical. But the majority decided they wanted to elect. They had the right to elect. When the prophet, the founder, left, and this is part of the backstory. I'm not going to go too far into. when the Moors, you know, after the funeral, they said that was our man. Brother Miliel was upset, understandably upset, when the prophet passed. And when and we're gonna read about this, and he wasn't able to. He was supposed to officiate the funeral. When he wasn't able, Brother Kirkman Bey had to step up. Imagine that scenario. Short notice and cranked it over the fence. He made the prophet look good. Prophet was lied in state for 5 days. I think he lied in state for 5 days. The Moors taught me. Governors and state officials coming from all around. Right? So when they found their leader, they had two decisions. Either we're gonna appoint leaders going forward. I don't know if I want to be in a Moorish Science Temple of America that was appointing leaders per se, because it gets chaotic. That could get very chaotic. You know, Prophet said he left the European here long enough to show us how to run a government. We want to have elections so that your opinion can matter. We want to get the best person for the job, not some kind of, imagine appointments. You know, it would cause a lot more splintering. But they definitely had to write by the regulations of Hers revised statutes to choose to have elections. So cut it out, cut that part out. And I don't have that other bit of information, but apparently that in 1936, if you would like to do this for us, Brother Tahaka Bey, let me see if you lie about this. Pull the convention that was held from our past brother, past leader, past Grand Sheikh Brother Emili in 1936, and then pull the one that the Moorish Science Temple of America had in 1936, and do a comparison of the participation. Apparently, the 1936 convention of Brother Miliel only had one other officer present, or it would appear to be, because there's only one other officer mentioned in the program, which says a lot. These are records, you know. These are official records. So I want to continue. So then let's go into this. So let's talk about footprints. So Brother Kirkman Bey is the wrong leader. Oh, he's not qualified. He's not a sheikh. He's all these different things. You accused Brother Kirkman Bey of stabbing a prophet, Mo. I ain't heard you say that again, but that came out your mouth on one of your shows about a year and a half ago. That's diabolical, brother. But I want to speak to footprints. It says in our Holy Quran, tells us about Master leaves his footprints clearly cut. And all who study his footprints will know where their master went. Paraphrase, butcher the verse, chapter 4. Similarly, I remember in a debate in 2016, even an earlier one. It was the one that brother Sarah Sutan Seti was saying about the prophet. Even the more in the second debate, what's that brother's name? Ali Muhammad. I think it's Ali Muhammad or something like that. Was saying it was accusing the prophet of being some type of a villain, basically, just slandering our prophet, which I definitely ain't gonna repeat a word of it. You could challenge that by saying, well, if the prophet was such a deceiver and trying to jam us, look at the prophet's footprints, what he did. He told you your nationality. He retrieved the flag from the government. He said when he crossed the border with the Holy Quran, they was looking for the book. They was looking for him with dreadnoughts and zeppelins. Dreadnought is a old school battleship and all that. They was trying to get the prophet. Prophet had to memorize the book. How would he move like that if he was a villain and give you your nationality, give you your names, show you how you slip through the loophole of the Constitution of the United States of America? Why would he do that if he was trying to take something from you? It don't make no sense. So, and similarly, you look at the footprints of Brother C. Kirkman Bey, and I would ask you, how dare you blame our brother, the past leader, of doing something to the Moors? When after some of the Moors went wild, they were going wild, they kidnapped Brother Kirkman Bey, and he ended up in that situation. I had to flash the Facebook, you got on your Facebook of the arrest and all this. Is Moors talking about, read the FBI files of the arrest. Brother Kirkman Bey, imagine somebody came and kidnapped you because you're trying to do civic work. You're an activist trying to help your people, and you got kidnapped by these Moors. What did Brother Kirkman Bey do? This is what I always say. He came out, and instead of running, most people run for cover. Like, I ain't have my wife told me I can't have nothing to do with y'all. He came and put in 30 years. And these are his footprints. So how dare you, bro? How dare you? Brother Kirkman Bey, he officiated, Brother Kirkman Bey performed the Prophet Noble Drew Ali's funeral rites in July 1929. He went to Havana, Cuba with the Prophet. Why would he do that if he was going to jam the Prophet? He attended the World's Fair. The members of the Moorish Science Temple of America were present at the World's Fair held after the Prophet, held April 30th, 1939. Through October 27, 1940. Why would he put the Moors on front and center? You know, that was, the World Fair was a big deal. Flushing Meadows, Queens. He set up a parade in Chicago, Illinois. Brother Kirkman Bey orchestrated several parades during our annual national conventions in Illinois. And continuing the Prophet's original thoughts started in 1928. Brother G. Moss Bey was the lead conductor for most of those parades. Brother G. Moss Bey, you know about him? Brother Kirkman Bey also encouraged and supported the Moors to hold parades in their respective cities, including the MSTV parade held in New York in 1937 that he attended. He reinstated the Grand Governors of the MSTFA. Thank you, Sister Warner Bey, for this article. I had the honor to be able to work with. I don't see if I'm on there. Yeah, I got the honor to work with Sister Warner Bey on. She's a treasure trove. He appointed the third Grand Governor and extended them by state. He appointed the very third one. He set aside temple numbers 18 through 60 something. He kept the temple organized by numbers, neatly organized. Sister Warner Bey taught me that. Right? He restarted the Moorish Guide newspaper. It stopped and during the chaos. He restarted the Sisters. He restarted the Sisters Auxiliary, similar to the Moorish Guide and the Moorish Manufacturing Company, which were temporarily out of service after the Prophet's transition. He restarted Young People's Moorish National League, Young Muslims League. Well, what you talking about? What kind of footprints are these? It's just giants' footprints. And if it wasn't for Brother Kirkman, none of this stuff might not have gotten done. He had a military training, they call him Colonel. He set up the Mufti Court. He set up the colony in Virginia. He reset the per capita tax. He set up the Quran class picnic, aka cookout, aka Moorish Home number 2, a national holiday first week in August. He set up the national holiday in Indiana. Oh, it's more. He organized a temple property purchase in Moments, Illinois, named Sunset Manor. He prepared the dress codes for the auxiliary, set up bunkers or safety shelters for the Moors. What are you talking about? Oh, he sold us out. He did something. He's trying to slow the movement down. You gotta lace your boots back up more. So I'm gonna go into this document. I'm gonna put this down in the you should be able to find it after this video is done, down in the title of this ultimately will be a YouTube. You'll find it down in the description of the YouTube. Get this document and read this. This is a powerful demo. 100-year anniversary. MSTA wake-up call. The official seat of authority explained. Who is the official leaders of the Moorish Science Temple of America? By someone called Professor Benjamin Collins Ill. I believe it's a what they call it, a ghostwriter or a pen name. It's a pen name for a very, very qualified Moorish American, one of our best researchers in the movement. And in this, when you read this, he breaks down because it wonderfully respects all of as we kind of broke apart. He gives information for each of them very fairly, very balanced, in a very measured way. I was wondering for years who put this together because it was so respectfully done, detail oriented. And I'm gonna go to page number 15 on here. I think it's 51 on this deck, where it goes into I think it was Brother Merely Ill. Was number 15. Okay, 15. Let me read this little piece in here. This is an example, and this kind of gets to the crux of what happened. Although Brother E. Merely Ill was doing an outstanding job in Chicago in the absence of the Holy Prophet, it was Brother C. Kirkman Bey who was gaining recognition and notoriety from Moors all across the country, being that he was oftentimes a part of the Holy Prophet's entourage. Prophet Noble Drew Ali loved and trusted both Brother E. Millie Ill and Brother C. Kirkman Bey. This is evidenced by a statement the Holy Prophet reportedly said to Brother E. Millie Ill. Everyone wants to sit there because that is where the money is. But I know who I want to sit there, and I know who I want to handle my money. If you leave for any length of time, give the keys to Brother C. Kirkman Bey until you return. That's what we just went over a minute ago. If I love and trust the man, he is not getting the keys to my house where the money is. Right? The Holy Prophet could have chose anyone, yet he displayed trust, confidence, and reliance in Brother C. Kirkman Bey, being that he was the chief interpreter and a part of the traveling retinue. Right? And then I'm going to also read another portion from there, 18 and 19, which gets into the crux with the time that we actually have. I'm going to take, I don't want this video to be too long. It explains, this is the lead up to the funeral, Prophet transition. It says, the feeling of grief, anguish, and sadness was so prevalent at the time that even the Supreme Grand Sheikh, Brother E. Millie Ill, was affected, to the point that reportedly he was unable to perform the Holy Prophet's funeral rites because of his extreme sorrow. However, this would prove to be a decision which I am sure Brother Millie Ill would eventually come to regret. The Prophet's funeral was an international event, which once again put the spotlight on the Moorish Science Temple of America. The gravity of this event may not be readily comprehended today. National and international dignitaries from near and far came to pay their last respects to the Holy Prophet. At this service, Brother C. Kirkman Bey shined. At once, he was viewed by the head officials as being stalwart, resolute, brave, and audacious, because he was amongst the few who were not caught up in the sprays of emotionalism. He performed the Holy Prophet's last rites with impressive honor and solemn dignity. The Chicago Defender reported, the Eastern burial rites was led by Brother Kirkman Bey. Whatever he was saying in connection with this ceremony was as foreign to the audience as Caesar is to a fourth grade pupil. At least to that part of the audience not affiliated, it was evident that he was lamenting the passing of the Prophet and praying for blessing from Allah. After he had read about 10 minutes, Kirkman circled the casket 3 times. That's it, 7. He made 3 more trips around the casket. This time he was followed by 10 men, the Grand Sheiks of branch temples. And I'm going to continue. Even E. Millie Ill stated, we honored Brother Kirkman Bey with papers at the Prophet's credentials, i.e. Divine Minister papers, to show him we appreciated his services he performed over the Prophet's body while in state. So that actually corrects what I was saying earlier about, I don't know if this is an interpretation that the paperwork was for the DM papers, or if it was, given qualifications of a sheik. I'm not sure. But they honored him. Mother Amelia honored him. So I wanted to read that. Get this document. Read the whole thing. This will actually clear up a lot of the confusion, and it makes perfect sense because, Brother Cyrus Hill, I'm a big proponent for us coming together at the end of the day. And let me not talk. Let me just leave that there. Get that. You'll find it in a link below the title for this video. It'll probably be linked to a file that I'm going to upload to our Facebook page, Temple 34's Facebook page. And then, so I want to speak to these false accusations, where he says that Brother Kirkman Bey is associated with Claude Green Bey's betrayal. And I would just basically say more, that's a big, from somebody whose credibility is a little bit shaky, been shot. That's a big statement. You're gonna have to provide a little further evidence than just your you're just talking. You're putting these theories together because, again, whatever your end game is, that you feel like you can take down the whole Moorish Science Temple of America because you're that mad, or you want to rebuild it. You're reaching. There's an end to a means. Going back to what is your motive, right? Legally, what is your motive? In psychology, you got to understand where somebody's coming from so you can know what they're gonna try to pull on you if you want to be good in logic, right? So now you want to bring down the temple. You got it. In order to do it, you believe that if you take down Brother Kirkman Bey, you can take down the whole temple. So now you need something on him, something that'll do the trick. That's why that's why you made this thought up that he You know, before it was, oh, you stabbed the prophet, but you stopped that. Now what you're currently saying is that he's associated by the Green Bay's betrayal. Yeah, I think I heard something you said the first time you said it, might be 6 months ago. You said because all of the betrayers came out of temple number 9, you know, but that don't make much sense. More, you just got to provide more information. And as well as I thought I saw something that said Brother Kirkman Bey from temple number 9. Yeah, you just got to explain that. You're talking, but you haven't given any, evidence. There is nothing that you can find that will say that Brother Kirkman Bey was associated with Brother Paul Green Bay. That you won't find it. It doesn't exist. I've never heard that before. I've heard all the different variations of what happened in that moment, with the violation regarding Brother Green Bay and Brother Lomax Bey, Brother Lomax Bey in Temple 4 and building a faction. And you never heard nothing connecting Brother Kirkman Bey to that. So you're just talking, but you're doing it because you're trying to be slick. You're thinking, I also feel like your demonstration is like the, what do you call that? The shell game. You throw a lot of information. Ain't nobody else putting information out there. You the authority. You can start the shell game and you do like, a flurry of information and then people get confused. Newcomers get confused and then you can slip something in there, but you got to show proof of that. Kirkman Bey connected to Paul Green Bay, not at all. Never. Prove, show and prove on that. Some actual empirical evidence to that claim. And that's actually very diabolical of you. It's very shameful of you to even try that. How dare you even try that? It goes back to again, more. What do you call yourself doing? And these are elders. These are beloved elders of what Sister German Bay called. She said the Moorish Science Temple of America represents the soul of our people. And the prophet's mission is that we're gonna take this to over the top. And look at you, look at you, more. Look at your legacy. You're attacking elders, beloved elder leaders of the past leaders of the Moorish Science Temple of America. With some talking, bam, bam. And then I want to go to this next thing. What's it got here? Brother R. Jones Bey, the leader of the Moorish Science Temple of America today, right? Brother R. Jones Bey, right? Our Grand Sheikh and moderator of the Moorish Science Temple of America, does not have to acknowledge you more. He don't have to acknowledge. Prophet, but the Grand Sheikh and moderator has a very difficult job in the sense that he has to be very selective on the moves that he makes. And I would say as a leader of a local temple that you don't know what a leader has to deal with unless you're in his shoes. And then once you're in his shoes, you realize, oh, it's a lot more complicated up there, dealing than it is from your perspective. Like you said, I'm not sure if I'm not gonna talk about your credentials, but it's you were trying to organize a temple, and you should see how hard it is. How much success, how long is it gonna take for your temple stabilizes? Brother Jones Bey does not have to address you. So because you put together this platform, you did it in 4 years, and you did it skirting the rules and regulations of the Moorish Science Temple of America. You're not even. Are you a member right now? Would you technically be qualified as a member? But you skirted the rules, and now you want to speak to the leader of the Moorish Science Temple of America because you said so, Bam Bam. Oh, you said so like Bam. You're not Bam Bam. I'm using the example of Bam Bam because literally, that's an honest example. You demanding like it's childish. That's my way of saying it's kind of childish. And you figure because I'm threatening enough, my platform got big enough, he gonna have to answer me. Brother Jones Bey don't have to answer you more. And by putting him on posters and all that, trying to twist his arms, it just says more about you. It speaks to your diplomacy levels, and it speaks to your respect level and your integrity level so you say that you are a sheikh, and this is how you would carry yourself as sheikh. I actually believe you're a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, or you were. I believe that hopefully you are still a follower of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. But even as a basic human being, why are you playing too much? It's a serious business. Brother Jones Bey does not have to answer you. And then because so I just wanted to put that on the record in case you're wondering why you didn't get the response. And this actually speaks to your a similar tactic in trying to what do you had the community that you put together? I forget the name of the community that you were trying to put together, the Moorish community. You had something that I forgot, part of me, I forgot how you called it. And you're like, oh, Moors didn't put money for my Moorish community that I put together. And I told everybody I put a GoFundMe. More, you are not, you're assuming that people are going to acknowledge you as the leader of the Moorish Science Temple of America or leader of any temple. And because then you say, oh, Moors don't put no money, because Moorish village, Moors ain't put no money into the Moorish village, Moors don't want to do anything. That's a classic, like, low-level argument. And it's what people say usually when they are very angry, lazy, or have a lot of audacity. Moors are not joining more just because you call yourself the Grand Sheik, Supreme Grand Sheik, and you say you have noble temples. Now you're trying to roost people. That's where I meant to say it earlier in terms of a lot of the problem with your approach is that it's a grift. It's a grift. You're moving with a format that is like grifter. It's a grift. You're basically trying to manipulate to get somewhere. You're trying to manipulate the Moorish Science Temple of America so that you can have leadership. You could take control, and I believe it's ego-driven because I don't think that you really are ready or would really true. I think you truly want to be a leader of the Moorish Science Temple of America, but you can't do it that way. You're trying to break into the Prophet's organization. But I don't think it's that anymore. I think now it's something totally different. I think it's just your platform, man. This is why I say that we can see you. I think it's, you need view. Of course, I'm a business person. I'm into marketing. I know what it means. You got a platform. You got a YouTube platform. You got to put some logs on the fire to keep it going. You can't use the Moorish Science Temple of America to do that, more. That's not right. That's not right. You try to force the leadership out so that it force the Moors down and force Brother Jones Bey to the table. That's not how you do that. What makes you think that any Moors, you would try to take us hostage, that the Moors would follow you as leadership, even if you were successful, if you had a weak leader, which we don't, and he was the fall for that, or, or the Moorish Science Temple of America, you broke it and it fell. You think people going to follow you? Stop. That's actually a grift. The Grand Sheikh moderator does not have to address you. So you need to quit. That's very disrespectful. I wanted to speak to some common sense things about the Moorish Science Temple of America for anyone that may watch this, as I am approaching. I think I'm approaching, like, is it an hour and a half? I got a couple more things. The charter system. And unity, as it pertains to the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Prophet put together charters, and I noticed yours. I seen you had a real big charter that was the size of like a poster one last year, without a frame, like, and then this year it's a different charter. But what I would say is, you at least understand that you need to have a charter on the wall. But what's the purpose of the charter system? Why did the Prophet incorporate the Moorish Science Temple of America? And luckily he did. And why would he do that? Because Marcus Garvey had to incorporate to keep people, the Asiatics, unconscious Asiatics, from tearing it up. Prophet said, you can't tear this up, it'll tear you up. Right? So if you have a charter system, the Prophet wanted us to respect it. He said, strictly preserve in chapter 47. We're supposed to strictly preserve these laws. In 48, he said, I got a charter for every state throughout the United States, etc. But he didn't say for anybody to just go to the printer and print it. He said to actually earn one when you're ready. Right? So the Prophet has a charter system, and you've broken it, and you jackhammering at the root of the whole organization, the movement. If you look up the charter, and I decided I don't want to show all these files. There's a Sunday school that I did this. If you look on Temple 34's page where this video rests, about the authority of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and it goes into the filing. You look up, you're intelligent, look up the Moorish Science Temple of America, incorporated November the 29th, 1926. It's still there as it is a corporation. And you'll see that which was upgraded to the religious organization. But it's when you look at the file, it says 1926, because that's when it was set. But then it was updated. It's the same organization. The registered agent was Sister S. Bruce Bay, one of our past elders from Chicago, and it is current from Chicago Temple number 9. I think Sister Bruce Bay, I know she lived at 9. I know next door. But it's now registered to Brother V. Bell Bay, President, Assistant Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America. You know, does that mean for those that have ears to understand what I just said? Brother Emily Ill actually used the word incorporated. This is another document that Brother Anil Bay shared with me. To make this point, all Moors keep saying, "Oh, the Moorish Science Temple of America, Inc., the Inc., the Inc." You know, as if that's some type of issue. Here is, this is the 6th Annual National Convention of the Moorish Science Temple of America, 1933. This is Brother Mealy Ill's convention in 1933. You can see, let me just qualify that. Brother E. Mealy Ill, right? Formal opening, address. You know, see Brother Mealy Ill, this is his program, right? Make sure those that want to view that. There's another page, all right? That one looked like it came from the library. 6th Annual Convention of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Inc. All right. So the prophet ain't have a problem with it. Millie ain't have a problem. Why does it, you know, Brother Johnson Big got a problem with it? You know, and then going through this thought about the 97 years of quality history, I'm gonna pass that just for sake of time. Why would you want to delete that more? You know, Prophet Incorporated, and it's an evolution. It's not multiple organizations. So now I want to speak to some of your miscellaneous recent claims that you made. You were talking about the website. You said there were fake temples. He said the Moorish Science Temple of America got fake. All these temples on the back of the. I don't think I got a cover of the on the back of the Moorish God. You know, it's I think it's 70. We got a lot of temples. It might be in the 30s, but the number goes up to. I know my Grand Sheik is the head of Temple 88. I think that might be one of the highest ones, Sister E. German Bay. You said some of those temples are fake. This is again credibility thing. Which one? You tell me which one, and we can provide evidence. All those temples, every temple in the Moorish Science Temple of America is active, bro. Is acting, even the study groups, whether it's the smallest study group got 7 to 10. Especially if it's on the back of the newspaper, they take them off when they're not functioning. They collect the charters if they're not functioning at the right level. You know, I think the only temple that is temple number 10 is my former Grand Sheik, is the Grand Sheik of Temple number 10, Newark, New Jersey. And he's held the charter for a while. There are a couple temples that the charters are not, but it's not, I think it's off the lithograph now. I think it might be off of the back of the newspaper. Temple number 10 might be the only one that's listed but not operating. Every other one, you name the temple, and it, you know, and that question will be answered. But you just blurting out now. You just this is where how bad it's gotten. You just saying anything. It's not true. Name the temple. You talking, but speak specific. You said tag day. Tag day. You know, you tag day. You know, I'm reading the newspaper and it says that this was announced on March the 17th, but the prophet was arrested on the 16th. Right here in the Moorish God. More. I work on a Moorish God, actually. Praise Allah. It's an honor to be able to be a part of the present Moorish God National Edition. And the paper, once it's done, it's at least a week and a half before it goes to print. You know, this is common sense. I mean, I don't even got to talk a lot about this. But it takes us months to finish one issue. You know, by the time you collect all the article could have been written 6 months ago. You know, we try to aim it so it hits the date, but a lot of times you'll notice the Moorish God will come out, it'll be like 2 weeks, the date's like 2 weeks old. So you're talking about the day before the newspaper had it listed. That don't make no sense, bro. That makes no sense. The prophet probably didn't realize that was going to happen on the 16th. And you wanted to dump the entire tag day, bam. What else he said? You said you attacking New Year's. I'm not going to touch that. You actually I think you on your video saying, oh, Moses keeps saying we got to learn to love instead of hate. We got to learn to love instead of hate. This is where I'm wondering, and I'm gonna segue this into my next thing about the irony of your platform, the way it turns. It turned from being coming out of the excitement of the victory of the debate of 2016. We was dead. You know, we worked together to get there, to get in and out of there safely, and it was a huge success. You were born from the outcrop of that. You put no work in, and you had your bucket of excitement, and you pumped it up. Just like who does that? So I ain't gonna disrespect. I don't want to be disrespectful to you because it's not about you. It's about my elders and our leaders. But certain type of person does that. You came in, you welcomed yourself. You weren't from New York. You weren't had nothing to do with any of the people that were. It was all New York in the building. Philadelphia was invited because they were a part of organizing it. And you took the excitement and you created this platform, and then you acted like you were with us, and you were championing the prophet in the temple, and you still had your leadership together. You know, I'm not gonna name your leadership because I know he don't want to be associated with you now, either one of them, because I respect them. I know I learned about your past leader, your last leader. I learned about him. You know what I mean? As a good brother. You know, he has highly respected research. I'm familiar with. You know, you started off and you were with us, and then the next thing you know, you weren't. You were attacking the Moors. You know, the irony of that is pretty deep. And then now I wonder if you hate the Moors. You talking about, oh, y'all keep talking about love instead of hate. The prophet said that. Well, how dare you? That's the prophet's main charge, that we were supposed to learn to love instead of hate. Chapter 45, instruction number 1, and all in the front of the Quran, the back of the Quran, all through the Quran, all through the prophet's statements. So wait a minute. So you disrespecting the prophet? I told you. Prophet Noble Drew Ali schooling, he was in Egypt, and he was in this, that, and the third, Are you having jokes about the prophet's education? This was this past week. And you better take them videos down. You lucky, I'm gonna put it up at the end. I'm running out of time rapidly. I'm gonna have to wrap this up. Do you hate the Moors? You said the Moors don't do this, the Moors don't do that. That's very ironic about your platform. I want to speak to this. I'm trying to wrap up quickly here because I got a call with my family here coming up in a couple of minutes. That was my mother that just called. So you call us your brothers. When in its early stages of this platform, and for years later, from when you started in 2016, 17, and 18, you called Brother A. Hopkins Bey, for example, your big brother, and you got so much honor for the Assistant Grand Sheikh of the Moorish Science Temple of America, all our big brothers. Brother Anio Bey, myself, and anybody else that's a part of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and you call us your brother, and then you turn around and start disrespecting Brother Jones Bey, our leader. You think that's right, Moore? Why would you do that? Forget about me, because that's why I stopped taking your calls. How was that confusing? Who you think you dealing with? Is that right to do that to Brother Hopkins Bey? Your big brother who tried to, he saw that you were a mess. You're very messy. He was trying to support you more, trying to fortify you. He came onto your platform to try to help, to guide you along the way. When you start disrespecting our leaders, you realize that you disrespecting Brother Hopkins Bey. How could you? Who does that? And you know Brother Hopkins Bey is not gonna, he's not gonna stoop. He's not gonna, I'm bending my neck down right now to speak to you. And I shouldn't be stooping. That's why I'm probably gonna get in a lot of trouble for even making this video. But for me, because of the past leaders, I'll take it. Whatever happens to Brother Cyrus Hill over this, it would be for a worthy cause, whether or not. Brother Hopkins Bey can't stoop to address what you're doing. Why would you do? That's betrayal, man. You betray your big brother. A brother like Brother Hopkins Bey, that should have been a mile marker for you to tell you how far off the course that you went. And then let me read finally on the record this crap he was talking about debate, betrayal, and whatnot. So your followers can understand who they're dealing with. I didn't go into any of the corporation files and all that. There's a couple things that I missed off there, but this will suffice for now. This is on your thread. I put a post on my page. You switch it over real smoothly and try to communicate on your thread. That's something totally different. That's for those who really know people trying to be slick. You ain't want to say all this on my thread. I said Islam. I heard enough of your absurd falsehood about the MST of A, brother, and the slander about our past leaders. I'm open to debate ASAP. Let me know where and when, and I've signed to that. You said Brooklyn Grand Sheik, let's set it up ASAP. Let's find a neutral mediator to structure the talking points, right? So I came back, talking point. We can do this as a series of debates, discussions to clear this once and for all, because there's a lot here. You can box me into 4 points when all of this needed to be said. A lot more needs to be said. Then it's more joining in. Talking Bay, leave him alone. He's a Grand Sheik. This more asking me whatever random question. Talking Bay, so you said to me, can we set up the structure and topic today? You basically you think I'm going to dodge you, whatever that day. I'll give it to you today, but at the same time I do, we have order in the Moorish Science Temple of America. So I got people I got to at least notify what's going on, because immediately when this hit the Facebook, I got a call from my grand governor. I got a call from sheiks from all around the country. And, I'm going to honor at least having a discussion with my grand governor so he knows what's going on and what I'm thinking. So it took me longer than a day. That was I think it was roughly 24 hours. I came back with let's aim to do that on Wednesday. That's today. 3/22 at 5 p.m. I have 2 or 3 hours to work with, and if we need more time, we can pick up after the 5th next month, right? In 2 weeks. I plan to have one panelist with me to organize any records I end up citing. It's misspelled. I'll confirm these dates in the next 24 hours. I'm ready to rock out. You came back. Is that the debate or setting up the debate? Here you go. Okay, you don't want to have a discussion though. You don't want to have a series of discussions. That's where I first dawned on. That's how I registered that. Okay, you got a problem with a debate or setting up the debate out, whatever that means. We need to set up the structure of the debate and the debatable points and then set a date. Wouldn't you agree? Okay, I see you trying to put me into 4 questions, but I don't want to be in 4 questions. And you're not Sarnetta. So I came back. I said, well, I would like to set this up as a discussion, and we can utilize the time frames in 2 minutes and 5 minutes each. That's what a debate boils down to, is you get the time to talk, I get the time. That's a debate. As the conversation opens up, let's talk about why you're doing this, and let me talk about do you realize what you're doing? I said, I'm not necessarily interested in the formal ramifications of a debate. I want to have a sober discussion with you about the truth regarding what you've been saying about the Prophet's organization and doing to his movement. I'm not sure you can see the ramifications of your actions, which is what I'm talking about now. I said, I like to focus on your claims and start there carefully. And it's continued on here. I'd like to start focus on your claims and start there carefully, because there are a lot of questions that lead up to all of these statements. Hopefully that sounds fair and logical. When in analysis, I always prefer to address logic first and then let the details and evidence follow. Like, let the debate follow the logic of, like, what are you trying to do here? Let's freestyle a little bit and have an open discussion. Peace. That don't sound like, do I sound fair? No, and I don't sound too eager. I'm just like, this is good. Let's do it. Then I came back to you a day later. I said, Islam, but Talker Bay, so are we confirmed for this Wednesday? I haven't heard back from you in 24 hours. Don't get scared. And then you said, Brooklyn Grand Sheik, no, you said you ready for a debate ASAP. Let's set up a debate. I'm not trying to sober discuss anything. A respectable debate is what I seek, because what you said you wanted ASAP. So now you're trying to avoid a debate. But I know why, Mo. I know why you don't want no debate. So I came back, I said, you sound afraid, Mo. I'm going to keep this discussion on your points made over the last, 3 years about my leadership in past and present. I won't go outside of that sphere. I have it on this discussion by myself. But if you want to make it a debate, so those restraints, 4 questions, will miss the ramifications of your misunderstanding, don't hide behind it. You want to do that because you want to hide behind your structured debate. I said, don't do that. Come on, Mighty Moore. Right? What's so scary about that? Let's do this. You owe us that. You represent the truth, right? Represent with courage. Then you said, are we debating or not? You ready ASAP? Don't flip it now. So this is a tactic that, like, Sarnetta was using. I remember because I was helping, to get him. He was running terrified from Sharif. Took us, I believe it was 2-3 years before he would finally agree to that. He was letting other people, anybody but Sharif, because you know why? He gonna stick a pin in your balloon and it's over. So I mean, I know what you're doing right here. Okay, now you trying to make it seem like you're strong, but you don't really want to have the debate. That's you like doing the twister thing. Now you contorting and try to look strong, but you really shook. But ironically, I'm shook. And then you said, "Don't you get scared?" Not do that. Now you repeat what I just said, right? So it's like it's childish. Let's set up the debate. You want to debate? You demanded the debate. All right. You circle my thing. I'm open to you said debate. That's why you circled the thing. So I said, Talk Bay. So tell me how you want to structure these questions. And I'm looking at you like, let me hear this. Let me hear what you want to lock me into. Then you said, what points would you like to debate? Let's get a neutral mediator and set it up. Are you serious? You don't even know the process of formulating a structured debate? This is game. You talk on both sides of your neck is how they say that where I'm from. So I said, look, most Moors don't want to subject themselves to what you've done to this platform. So I have to think of some suggestions for a mediator. And then 2, before I subject myself to your unreasonable, fearful demand to do a debate only, let me ask you this first. And this really should be part 2, but I named it a number. I said, agree to do a discussion and a debate. That's a fair compromise, especially if you're the defender of truth. So I'm offering you, let's do the discussion and the debate. Why? If you got a talk show, now who's afraid? You afraid of a discussion? I just gave you the debate. If that was really the issue, but it's not the issue. You're just being slick. You don't have credibility and you're trying to manipulate. Let's agree to a discussion and a debate. Right? That is a fair compromise, right? Especially if you're the defender of truth. So I got this stretched out here a little bit better. Also, I want to be able to address any future claims, charges, or accusations you make about the Moorish Science Temple of America Inc. leadership in the future. That the tactic I knew you would like to use, I know you want to use, is to do one debate and then run and avoid after. So you can splice me up and put me all kind of crazy ways and cut me out, switching my words around, make rap videos and all this other stuff. All right, nah, I'm not that guy. I'm not going for that. Be honorable and give me your word. We're going to keep talking so you can stop bothering Brother Jones Bay and our leadership, who is not stooping down to this depth to deal with you. With the childishness and lies, more. This is light work. Everything I went over, any one of our members of the Temple 34, we go over this in Sunday school, would have been able to wash you up. This is just, you just confusing people that don't know. Falsehood cannot go toe-to-toe with truth. Per the Holy Quran of Mecca said, truth knocks falsehood's brains out. And then you said, now the claim was that all over your thing, play this video. He don't want to have a debate. He want to have a discussion, like as if I'm afraid somehow. We just read that right there for the record so people can see. Who was afraid? When I backed you into doing both a compromise, bro, I'll pass. That's like you said something about MMA. In wrestling, when you wrestle, when somebody tapping. This is the tap right here, bro. I pass. Brooklyn Grand Sheik, bro, I pass. You making this fall too, then you gotta make it look good, make it confusing. When you get your little your little shell game going, you making this fall too complicated. You shook. Go back and regroup and let me know when you serious. You talking about most Moors, all this mumble rap type of excuses. Peace, bro. Peace. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you gonna pass. I'm shook, but you pass. Yeah, I know you do. And then you try, you don't get the luxury to do it, make it simple. I'm supposed to chase you at that point, Sonetta, right? I mean, Brother Talk Bay, right? Nah, I'm not doing it. Point made. Now, this is checkmate because actually you act as though I wanted to go on your platform and look you right in the face. I didn't want to because I don't need all this out on the internet. I got another life in the business. I run a business. I got a professional. I don't got no other life, but I got a career that I don't want people searching all this up. This don't do nothing for Cyrus Hill. That's why I'm not trying to do mass volume on YouTube. It doesn't match well what I have to do right now to get my business off the ground. But I'm not chasing you. But stop saying that nobody will step up to you because you're not that guy. You're not frightening to anyone. And I'm gonna stop sharing this, and I'm gonna before I end, I'm gonna let more share a little bit about how you was talking. This so they can. I need to resonate the hypocrisy of what it is that you was trying. And so with that, I'm gonna pull up this again as I close this out. Stop it, more. You know what you're doing is kind of low level grift game. Is low level grifting. See how I can move this thing over here. Let me do like this then. Go to your page and find this video where you was talking. I know where the part is where I wanted to plug in. You're acting like I'm the one that's avoiding.
I'm gonna go live real quick. Turn down a little bit. A little bit more. Gotta talk. So family, I need somebody to send this to the Brooklyn Mall, man. Let me tag my people up in it. You know what I mean? Let me tag my people up in it, family. We gotta get right. I mean, stop playing. I mean, you challenged me to a debate. Now all of a sudden you want to try to change the rules, man. You can't change the rules, family. You know what I mean? We ain't gonna let you change the rules. You know what I mean? You got something against what I've been putting out, and you said that you wanted to debate me. Don't talk about we gonna have a discussion now. I mean, oh yeah, we're gonna discuss. We're gonna discuss in the form of a debate. You know. Let me finish sharing this a little bit more. Y'all make sure that y'all send this to the brothers and sisters at the Moorish Science Temple of America Incorporated. This is not I don't want anybody taking this as this some type of war, beef. This ain't that. This is just information that we need to deal with after all of this time. You know, nobody really wants to go toe-to-toe and deal with the fact of the matter why it's so many different factions of the Moorish.
What you looking for? You the question. Could've started with 48 cars, but now raking PayPal. The IRS got a PayPal, talking about PayPal, run it all. But we stress Jaguars, juveniles with cars, cowboy Indian with the Taser under the radar. I fight dragons like Adam's return to the garden. If your heart hardens, get your set broke like Abby Martin. They told us to get over it. They channeling Dracula. What they claim wouldn't happen was climactic, spectacular. Buried alive. Guess who was the Holy Grail? The first mass resurrection. They all said all hell. When this verse dropped, the earth pole pivot shook. The stakes is higher than the odds. Had the castle to rook.
They say we N-I-double-G-E-R. We are much more, but still we choose to ignore the obvious. We are the slave and the master. What you looking for? You the question and the answer. Do I mean it like a slave master? Nigga, no, I'm gangster. Gotta eat rappers. My abbreviation. I was young when I caught the cases. That should mean the court can see my changes. Take off the bracelet.